Hey guys, welcome to my top 10 movies of 2015. As you know, I really like movies and I wanted to share what some of my favorites were from this last year.
Number 10.
Straight Outta Compton. I really enjoyed the story of this movie, and it helped that the actors were the children of the people that the story is about. So it adds to a sense of realism because they look like their fathers. I enjoyed the music, I thought the story was solid, and I thought the acting was top notch. It was done extremely well. The movie was very enjoyable and you should definitely see it if you can.
Number 9.
Spotlight. I really like it when a movie nails the technique of showing a process throughout, and being able to see the process of this newspaper team expose the corruption of the Catholic Church at the time was really interesting. The mood didn't feel oppressive, and the atmosphere, while not uplifting, was very engaging, and you really wanted to see how they were going to make this happen. And it was just a fun way through until the end.
Number 8.
The Martian. Yet another movie that does the process right. Plus, it shows a survival process, and again, it's very engaging. The atmosphere fluctuates from being serious to funny, just like Matt Damon, who knocks it out of the park with his role. Plus, it's a sci-fi survival process movie, so that's just like a really good combination of elements in a story that I can really get behind. It's a great movie that's both fun and serious, and it wraps it all up well into a very enjoyable time.
Number 7.
The Revenant. Man, this is one of those movies you watch and you just get tired afterward. Leo DiCaprio put himself through a lot through this movie, and the way that it shows on his face, it just goes beyond acting, and it adds to the realism of the movie. The only reason it's this low on the list is because I feel like during the middle of the movie there's a stretch of time where it just becomes watching him survive, and it can get a little bit tedious and monotone, but the story in the movie is pretty dang good. You can kind of see where it goes, but it does throw a couple little twists here and there. But it's a very enjoyable time, and it's a wonderful craft of filmmaking on screen.
Number 6.
Mad Max Fury Road. Speaking of well crafted, George Miller brought it back big time with this movie. As you've probably heard, pretty much all the stunts on set were practical, all the special effects were practical. This is a well-constructed movie, not just in stunts, but story as well. Because if you haven't heard, it's mostly more about Furiosa, who is a very engaging character, and it's just interesting to see the title character of the movie play off of her and let her take the spotlight every now and then. It's a fantastic action movie with a great subtext that women are strong too, and let it be known.
Number 5.
The Hateful Eight. Man, Quentin Tarantino knocked it out of the park with this one. One of my favorite movies is 12 Angry Men, because I love the fact that it's a movie full of dialogue, and yet it makes it work so well. Everything is engaging because of the acting and because of the little bits of action that happen in the movie that make it so interesting. And it's the same case here. Of course, it's the Tarantino style where a lot of the violence is over-exaggerated, but that helps keep it interesting. The dialogue is super strong, and when there is some action and violence, it's also super strong to keep things just going, making sure the momentum doesn't slow down, but it's not going at a breakneck speed. It's pulling you along for the ride, but just enough so that you can really enjoy what you're watching.
Number 4.
The Big Short. This movie was deliciously spiteful against Wall Street, and I think a lot of us can get behind that. It's about the housing market crash in 2007 and how a lucky few people were able to see it coming and bet against it. What I really like about the movie is that there's not necessarily any good guys, but there's a lot of bad guys. And it's just regular Joes betting against the bad guys. And what really solidifies it is the fact that these guys know that they're going to be making money off of the tragedy of other people. And they kind of accept it, but they more so understand it. And that's important. But the movie is funny, it's engaging, it can be serious at times, and it has a great style that helps you understand all these big, stupid banking terms that try to make us feel dumb. It's a great movie. I've already seen it twice, and I want to see it more and more and more, so go check it out.
Number 3.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It's not a top 10 list of 2015 without this being on here. Why is it number 1, you ask? Well, because it's just not. It's a fantastic movie. I love the comparisons it has to Episode 4, which are very intentional. I think a lot of the acting is great. The action is really good. I think the story is pretty dang solid, but I think it also helps add some suspense to what's coming. It's really building up to something better and better. If you haven't seen the movie yet, it's probably because either you haven't gotten to see it yet or you just don't like Star Wars. But even if you don't, it's a really good action movie in its own. I would highly suggest going to see this.
Number 2.
The Walk. This was the surprise hit of the year for me. I knew it was about the guy who walked on a tightrope between the two twin towers when they were still up, but just the way that the movie was made it so fun, and I keep saying this, but it really was engaging. It was lighthearted at times, it was serious at times, but I think it was because it was made by Robert Zemeckis, who was a student of Steven Spielberg, that it has almost a sort of magical quality to it. And the fact that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character speaks to the audience through monologues and little bits of dialogue here and there directly to the audience, it works. It's not really gimmicky, it just works really well. It's almost a magical movie, and that's why I enjoy it so much. I highly recommend going to see this one.
Number 1.
Inside Out. This movie was special to me. Not just because of how creative it got into the human mind and the psyche, not just because of how it explored different ways of making it funny and making it interesting, not just because the animation is top-notch and everything looks really good, but it is incredibly special to me because it shows the importance of what happens in a child's mind, and really in all of our minds. There's some really hard things that happen to us that we have to think about, that we ponder on, that get stuck in our heads, and it just shows the inner workings of the mind so beautifully and so well that it's an instant connection when you watch it. I highly enjoyed the movie because of the voice acting, the very solid story, the music, the animation. It all just came together to be my favorite movie of the year. So there you go, guys. That was my top 10 movies of 2015. Let me know what you think in the comments about my list, and write what some of your own favorite movies were. I saw a lot of movies this year, and it was a big struggle trying to figure out what my top 10 were. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.